back. We're kind of focus on the State of the Union and the EPL, where things stand, where our teams are at, what we think is going to happen moving forward into the last 2.5, 3 months. It's getting crazy. Things are starting to take shape. Teams are changing. I guess we start with you, Alan. I'm surprised that United, it seems to like it's coming together now, and you're right up on our tail, meaning Tottenham. Hoyland's starting to score goals. What's going on there?
Yeah, I think they finally figured out the front three. Anthony just isn't working and hasn't been working out on the right. And so putting Garnacho out there and putting Rashford out left and Hoyland's finally, and I think all of that coming together is helping Hoyland. But yeah, Hoyland's finally finding some confidence. And, he was just lacking service before. But yeah, everybody was kind of harping on, 14 games in the league, no goals, no assists. But he's coming to, or I guess he had one assist, I think. But yeah, he's coming to his own. And man, I think this last goal in this last weekend against Luton, when you watch a player just chest it in across goal and across his body to the other side, I think that's the epitome of watching someone who is just full of confidence, just able to, have a shot come directly at him like that and just decide, you know what, I'm just going to chest this over to the other side, no big deal. But yeah, it's nice to watch. I still think our performances overall aren't great. We're not putting everything together like you see a lot of times Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool have done over the last few years, and even Tottenham this year. In your guys' first half of the season, there was some probably pretty well put together performances for most of the match, and yeah, United still go through spells where we just lose control, give way too many opportunities to the other team. Aston Villa game a couple weekends or a couple of game days ago might be a little lucky that it wasn't a draw. They had really good chances, and we kind of pulled a smash and grab there. But yeah, I
Great
mean,
away win, though. I mean, that
yeah,
wasn't that like his first quality win, Ten Hag's first quality win on
yeah.
the road.
Ten Hag, ever since last season, well, he's taken over. He hasn't gotten a uh, top nine in the Premier League table away win. So we've really struggled away. But I think, if you watch this season, especially like when we went to Liverpool, he was like, we are not having another 7-0. So he, sat.
Yeah, it was an awful match.
Yeah, we sat back, we played super defensive, and he didn't let those opportunities that we seem to give to everybody else happen. And I feel like it's probably because of a little bit of a lack of midfield presence. Casemiro just doesn't have the legs anymore, probably.
Yeah.
So and Bruno, he's going to push forward. Mainu's been amazing, but he's an
Yeah, I like that guy.
18-year-old, and he still has to learn the position. He's still growing and learning. But
Well,
yeah,
I guess the bottom line is there's a spark now, because the one thing I thought about you guys was so flat, so dry. Who's a leader? What are you doing exactly? And now, even like you say, if there's some moments where you're kind of fading or whatever, there's something there that wasn't there. There's a team spirit and like I said, front three. I guess that's a good place to start if you're looking for improvements. That you're at least getting the goals and um, moving forward in that direction, and maybe other things will follow.
yeah, they're at least exciting going forward, and they
Yeah,
get you out of your seat a little bit, and that I think boosts the confidence of everybody in the team and the club.
yeah,
So that's definitely improvement, and I think figuring out that these guys are a threat. I think also Ten Hag figuring out that, what, we're not going to control games super well, so let's just focus on, being a bit more counterattacking and a bit more transitional.
yeah.
So I think he's just kind of had to accept that for this season. That's not how he wants to play, but I think it's working out for us right now. So we'll take it. I think it's all about getting top four and then progressing as far in the FA Cup as we can.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's been better. We've won 5 or 6 in a row in all competitions, and we've
Wow.
started off 2024 pretty good. But yeah, we have a major test coming up at City in 2 weekends, so we'll
Okay.
probably come back down to earth a little bit after that. But it's a good run right now.
Well, that's good. I think we got a good pulse on them now. Ricardo, that probably should be a house divided graphic behind you with Arsenal and the Luton town. But
Put down in half.
nonetheless, I mean, Luton, I've liked them all year, and I still do, but they've slipped down into either the relegation zone or one above that. They're at 20 points, and
They're tied with Everton right now, 20
okay,
points, tied with Everton, and
The goal
then
differential puts them into relegation.
yeah, I mean it's tough because they still have Aston Villa, but I mean anything can happen. You know, they score first, they tend to score first, and then games just tend to slip on them. But they've always seemed dangerous. So hopefully they can at least stay afloat on the top three. Um, that'd be because I think they deserve it. You know, they play attractive football. They play well against the top eight up until the last quarters of the game. Um, but yeah, they've definitely been looking good. Arsenal, in my opinion, have been looking really good too. They got 11 goals in the last two games. The only thing that I
yeah,
feel like they would be better is if they could find themselves a good center forward. I did see that they tried Trossard last time, and I mean he's great. Don't get me wrong, but he was just missing some that a lethal center forward would probably just put away.
sure. He's more of a winger, right? I mean, that's
Yeah, he
yeah,
carries the ball. I mean, but he makes good runs. I mean, I personally I like him, but I think we need like a good center forward that just is just gonna put away some stuff. Gabriel Jesus was doing it pretty well, but I would love to see someone like a Richarlison type, you know,
you
big,
can have him.
strong, and tough.
You can have
And we
him.
can have him. Yeah, thanks.
I
They've
mean,
been heavily
young.
linked with Tony, right?
Tony and
Ivan Tony.
Boy,
I
that's a
would
big
I would Tony
gamble,
be
Alan.
cool.
Why is that, Dave?
That's a big gamble to get Tony.
Just with the betting stuff, or
It's a joke. Gamble.
oh, I'm so dumb. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Add the drum roll,
I'm just thinking so
Ricardo
serious.
or Alan, whoever, add the drum roll afterwards.
Yeah. Totally will. Totally will. Yeah, that went right
That's
over my head.
But you weren't
That's
wrong,
funny.
yeah, because of the gambling. Yeah, I think you're right. Luton, I would not want to see them go down because if you watch some of these teams that are trying to survive, they don't play attractive football and they do sit back and Luton goes for it. They've got a couple great wingers out there, Abgina or Abgin, I don't know how to say it, but they go for it and they're smart with how they counter. I like them, and it would be a shame if they went down. Yeah, as for Arsenal, they're riding high on confidence. It's everything seems to be clicking, but now we're talking about now we're getting into the weeds, right? It's 2.5 months or whatever left. So last year around this time is when City kind of started asserting their dominance and Arsenal kind of slipped. So are they going to learn and have some nerves of steel going down the stretch? But having said that, you got Liverpool, who seems to be probably the most mature and balanced team right now overall and in general. I mean, and obviously we know City what they can do at any given time. So,
City seems real suspect to me this year. I
oh, they
mean,
are.
almost all year,
Yes.
like the defense hasn't been there like it has in the past. The goal scoring, obviously Holland being injured
They're
hasn't
burnt
helped
out.
them,
I
but
think they're very burnt out.
I agree. And I don't think they have the players that they've had in the past, like Gundogan, to rely on in the sub
Right.
positions and in the big moments. Gundogan came up huge for them
I agree.
in,
Foden's
final
hot.
match days and what?
Foden's hot, and he wasn't always getting the minutes, and I
Yeah.
think he's starting to get those. Plus De Bruyne being back, but overall, yeah, I think Rodri even said it before the season started. He was like, I can't play this many games anymore, but he's kind of the heartbeat of the team in the middle,
Yeah.
and so yeah, they're gonna have to get their second wind or whatever you want to call it because they're not they're struggling against teams that they have no business struggling with, right?
Yeah.
And losing games and drawing it, yeah. So
Ricardo, do
we'll see.
you think Arsenal can pull it out and maybe get the title?
I mean, that's what I said at the beginning when we started recording the podcast. If there's any time you want to start playing some great football, it'd be now. But I mean, Champions League is back up. You know, as long as they can stay injury free and hope that Liverpool can drop some points, I think they definitely have themselves a chance. I mean, it just depends on how Liverpool does it. You know, the last few weeks of the EPL will definitely be interesting.
Mhm.
So we
I
got
think Liverpool's riding on the high of of Klopp leaving, that there's a sentimentality there, that they're following this, this story of, hey, we could win it for him on his way out kind of deal.
Right.
Rightly so.
I mean, it kind of
So,
unites the team, right? To have that
yep,
driving force and that sort of camaraderie.
yep.
Arsenal at the end of March has a pretty tough stretch. They have to play the
Good.
second leg against Porto, but it is at home. But then they have to play Chelsea also at home, and then they have to play at the Etihad against City. So they're
Yep.
going to have a tough little bit there. And then doesn't get a whole lot easier for them in April, but they do have Wolves and Tottenham. Here's the crazy part. They have to play Man United at United the second to last match day of the season. So if things go right, and I would hate to see this, I really would. Even though I will go on record as saying I want to see Arsenal actually win it this year because I don't want to see City do it 4 times and I don't want to see Liverpool win it. So I'm actually cheering for Arsenal right now, which is gross because I can't stand them and their fan base. But anyway, except you, Ricardo, I like you. Uh, they could win it at Old Trafford. They could win the title. I mean, depending on how obviously things go, but if things line up just right, they could come to Old Trafford and pull out a win and claim the title that day, which would not be ideal, and I would not want to see that.
That's always been it seems in recent memory, that's always been a good match, whether it's at the Emirates or at Old Trafford. The Arsenal United games are just pretty hot.
Yeah,
Remember, was it there one earlier this year where there was a hint of offside and against
Garnacho
you
scored.
all, and then Arsenal scored a couple, Rice scored a goal. Yeah.
Yep. Garnacho
And,
scored, and they called it like a hair offsides, which I thought
yeah.
was ridiculous. Once I saw the replay and stuff, but I was like, come on, guys. Like,
Well,
anyway.
let's save the best for last. Tottenham, of course, finally climbed up into that. Well, we've kind of teetered around it, but climbed into that fourth spot, Champions League spot, and had not a clear path in front of us, but a pretty good scenario playing Wolves at home. And we all know what happened. And, we're not the first to suffer at the hands of Wolves. They're assholes. I mean, I hate these guys. And they're master counterattackers. And if you lose the ball and give away the ball stupidly, and you don't get back, and they catch you ball watching and guarding space versus the man, you're going to pay. And they hit us twice. And they sat back, and what did we do? We pass, hoping to get it out to the wing, maybe get a cross in that's perfect for someone's head or a deflection or whatever. Didn't happen. I mean, we got one goal, but it's painful to watch, and I can't say it enough. The one thing about Tottenham that I wish we would fix is we need a couple different players to prod and run at defenders with the ball, dribble, take players with you. It's nothing but passing. I know Ange loves kind of these clever little short passes where you kind of hypnotize the other team, and the next thing you know, Madison snuck in and got a goal. It works, but not all the time. And we were so predictable that no one stepped up to be unpredictable and just do something different other than just pass around, hope for, the best. So, and
Kulusevski
part of
looks
that is
dangerous, right?
huh?
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, I said part of that is, that's what Wolves do. They sit back, so everyone's in the box,
Yeah.
right? So, but you got to find a way to draw them forward a little bit, not just on counters, but just kind of draw them forward a little and be unpredictable. And we didn't do that. So that's the one area I think we need to improve on, because it can't just be when you have them on their heels. You got to find a way around them when things are a little bit congested. But
Yeah,
whatever.
Kulusevski looked like a threat though, right?
Yeah, he's been struggling, and right to start the second half, he scored a goal and just kind of caught fire and almost scored another one. And we have a good backup for him now. Johnson, the guy we got from Nottingham Forest, is very young, very fast.
Yeah.
He's made a difference in a couple games, but still learning. So it's a good problem to have. We've really never had depth because our ownership never spent money. So obviously, I'm very happy with where we're at. With considering the previous managers we've had and the negative approach to and a tactical approach to how we played. We're in a great spot. So everyone kind of feels guilty for complaining about something like this because we're heading in the right direction. And we are spending money and we're getting depth. And so it's just a classic Spursy crap when you're in a good position and the Wolves come to town and look what happens.
That new
But
stadium is paying off. I mean, I know you guys lost to
yeah,
Wolves and everything, but I'm just saying, like that new stadium's
yeah.
paying off, right? You guys are spending the money now for uh getting that new stadium and everything.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're still waiting for a title sponsor, which would cover a lot of cost and whatever line item, but we haven't named it yet. So it's like still Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think overall, we've captured the picture of the top of the table and how things are kind of shaping up. Obviously, it's pretty predictable at the bottom, like we mentioned, Luton is kind of venturing down that way, but Sheffield United seems to really be struggling.
They
Even
just
they
can't
brought their coach.
stop letting in
Yeah,
goals, Sheffield.
yeah. So they're probably a shoe-in to go down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest is another one that's struggling. Luton, Everton with their point deductions. It's gonna be interesting unless something really just opens up in the next few weeks. It could come down to some real drama, which I guess leads us to the championship, which is pretty hot now. Leicester is just running away with it.
Yeah, they're tearing it up down there.
Yeah, and so that was a short trip down to get back up, but
Southampton's doing pretty well too, right?
are they?
I thought I
Well,
saw.
Leeds is the one that is on fire.
Yeah.
They're scoring a lot of goals and they're winning. I think they even moved into second or third place because Ipswich Town, we can look at the FOTMob or whatever app you use, but
Leeds is so lame though. Like we don't need to talk about them.
well, yeah, I know it's
They're
a
so
tough subject for you, but
And they have 78 points. You're not lying. 78 points, 69 goals scored for, and 26 against. It's
Leeds
not
and
bad.
Leicester actually play on Friday. That should be entertaining.
oh, absolutely. Ipswich Town to me is a team I would want back up. If you watch their fan base and they're just so rabid and it's a historical team, which most of them are, but they were in the EPL in the early 90s or mid 90s or whatever. So it's one of those teams that hasn't surfaced in a long time. And it would be like kind of like Millwall, where it's like it would just be fun to have them in it. So I hope that happens. Obviously, it all comes down to who's in the between 3 through 6 for those playoff spots, which
Yeah.
is amazing football and very intense and lots of money at stake. So,
So
but it
yeah,
looks like Leicester
yeah,
probably will run away with it.
Leicester's by themselves at 78, and then you have Leeds and Ipswich at 69, and Southampton right behind them at 67, and then West Brom and
Leeds and
Hull.
Ipswich at 69. They should just stay at that number.
Yeah, just
Uh,
69 the rest of the season.
just give
I
them the
think they just
promotion.
stay right there.
Nice.
So we won't see them come up, I guess. But
Yeah, I always kind of like watching Leicester and Southampton and those teams. I'd like to see West Brom back probably if I
oh
was to pick some.
no, no. They're one of those teams again where they make us Spursy.
It'd be cool to see Daryl DK maybe out there though,
Oh,
in the
that, yeah.
Prem.
I mean, if there's some local blood, some domestic blood, I'm all for it.
That'd be
But
awesome.
yeah,
Get an Okie
like
out there.
again, I'm always for some team that has a pretty cool history that we haven't seen in a while. At least take one of those spots. But uh, yeah. So EPL
Well,
championship, that's coming together. We
speaking of Millwall, they're struggling in the championship and they're kind of
yeah,
towards the bottom. So they might get if they're not careful, they might get relegated with like QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, um Rotherham United. So yeah, they're a bit on the struggle there. But hey, our guy Michael and his Middlesbrough team are doing all right. They're straight up in the middle of the table, so they're
okay,
surviving in there. And Norwich is in eighth. I mean, if people aren't careful, Norwich could sneak into that sixth or
yep,
fifth spot and get into
Hmm.
the playoff. And then who knows what could happen, you know?
yep.
How about
Well, I think uh So I'm sorry, what else?
Oh, I was just gonna say, how about Sunderland? Like a few years ago, they
Oh,
were
that
they
would be
were
that would
they
be
were way
huge.
down, and they've slowly progressed and
Yep.
been promoted, and now they're in the top half of the championship. So I mean, maybe not this year, but maybe next year they could be pushing for a playoff spot.
Makes for good Netflix viewing, whatever it is.
They
I guess
released another one.
yeah, the third season came out.
Yeah.
Ricardo, have you watched any of that? Is it We Are Sunderland?
Yeah, I watched the first and the second season. I always find that kind of stuff interesting. Yeah, I
Yep.
love those kind of series. Oh yeah.
I think it started where they're like everyone's at mass praying for the team.
Pretty
It's
much,
like
yeah.
shows you
I,
where their priorities are at.
I haven't started it, but I queued up the next season because I want to see what it's like for
Yep.
them to actually get promoted and have a good season. Because those first two seasons, of the show,
Rough.
you were like, man, this is rough.
The
Yep.
Arsenal one is pretty good. I can see that for sure.
Dave could care less.
You know what? I didn't even watch the Spurs one that was on Amazon. I suffer enough with our team in real time on the pitch watching it. I don't need to see the behind the scenes crap of what goes on. I don't care.
Jose is just gold, though. That's the reason I
Yeah, I
watch it,
get
is
it.
because of
I
Jose.
get it.
He's just gold.
So I guess staying in the EPL a little bit, it's a really quite sexy match for the EFL Cup final this Sunday, Liverpool and Chelsea. If you get a chance to go up to the pub, that's always a hot ticket. But I think last year they may have played in a cup final or something. Maybe it was just the league match, but that seems to bring them out. So as a neutral, you control and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Uh,
Last
but
season
that
was
should be a good one.
last season was United versus Newcastle in the Carabao
Oh
Cup
yeah, yeah,
final,
yeah.
and then it
Yep.
was City versus United, and those were pretty fun. Other than the FA Cup one, because United kind of crapped the bed. But yeah, I mean, Chelsea and Liverpool, they always seem to kind of. There was a match I was at. I don't know if it was last season or the season before, but I feel like I remember some Chelsea and Liverpool fans getting a little heated with each
Yeah,
other.
that's what maybe it was two
And
seasons ago,
they
or it
weren't
was
regulars. They weren't regulars. At least I didn't recognize them as regulars. But yeah, they were
right.
getting a little heated.
No, there was a guy from Houston threatening to beat somebody up, and
Oh, yeah.
Riley was involved with it. So, well, too bad he's not on tonight.
Yeah, we could ask him about it.
But that
Uh,
should be a good match. Chelsea is just so unpredictable. And we know they have some players. We know what they're trying to do. Sometimes they just completely shit the bed. Other times, like they tied City. They drew with City both games this season.
They looked good.
Yeah, I agree.
They looked
Sterling,
good.
all of a sudden, he's relevant out of nowhere. It's crazy.
yeah, they did look good. On the counter, they were threatening, and that's how you have to beat Pep teams. I feel like if you can't match
Sure.
them in the middle of the park and just control and quality, then you have to counter them. And Pep's teams always seem pretty susceptible to those things.
Yeah.
Chelsea
Mhm.
probably could have scored, three, because of some of the chances they got. They probably should have scored about three.
No, I agree. It was pretty open.
Keeper had some good saves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, so what are you guys predicting for the Carabao final? What do you guys got?
Where's is that at Wembley? Yeah.
Yeah,
Boy, Liverpool's pretty hot. I would have to say 3-1 Liverpool.
Ricardo, what do you got?
Yeah, I also have Liverpool with Nunez making the difference.
All right. I'm gonna say it goes to penalties and
Ooh, I like.
Liverpool probably pull it out. And I don't want to see or say that, but if I'm going with my head, that's probably what
Yeah.
will happen. They'll win on PKs. I could see it being 1-1 or 2-2 or something, and then they'll go to
Yeah.
PKs.
Well,
I'm
you
sure
guys,
if Trent was here. I'm sure if Trent was here, he'd also say Liverpool. So
yeah, exactly. He's a humble man,
uh-huh.
We
or
could,
he's a man who's been humbled, however you want to word it.
yeah, this
Well,
season, other than the cup run, has been kind of rough for Chelsea.
yeah,
That's
you
for
guys
sure.
could probably take this and run with it better than me, but Champions League kicked back off yesterday and today. Is that right? I saw a little bit of Atletico and Inter, which was freaking beautiful. I mean, just the atmosphere. Anytime at the San Siro when there's a big match, that's pretty hot. And Aronovich, who I forgot was even playing still, got the winner.
United
And,
almost went for him in the summer, and then he
yeah,
got that winner. But I mean, he's probably not playing. I don't know. I don't follow Inter that closely, so he's probably not following
yeah,
or playing all that much. But
yeah,
it was pretty funny to watch him score that goal. I felt like.
yeah. And then today, like I said, you guys could probably run with it better. Arsenal played and Barca. Was that today?
Yeah, which game did you watch, Ricardo? Because Barca and Arsenal were playing same time.
I was watching the Barcelona game, but yeah, it was. Yeah, Barcelona had played well. They just couldn't break the lines. They ended up scoring a goal, but conceded
Lewandowski
late,
scored,
so it
right?
was a 1-1. Yeah, Lewandowski scored. That was it. Serginho Dest did get an assist with PSV yesterday
Mm.
against Dortmund, so that's some American news there.
They
And I
have
think
another American playing for him as well. I forget the guy's name.
Pepe,
Is
Pepe.
either one? Okay,
Ricardo Pepe.
cool.
Yeah, they both saw some minutes yesterday, I think. But yeah, Barcelona. Hopefully they can, come up with the better results at home, playing against Napoli at Napoli. They were obviously the better team, but sometimes a better team doesn't get the result.
Was it
No, and
was it at the
Napoli was
camp?
hot last year, but
Hmm.
Was it
they,
at the Camp Nou?
No, I think that was in Italy that they
Oh,
played.
yeah,
okay.
which is a very tough place to play, by the way.
No joke. You know,
Yeah,
I'm still impressed with as much as like the Italy teams have kind of fallen off. I feel like the atmospheres at those games is like top notch,
Of
and I
course.
think I think the English clubs, and uh, especially the bigger clubs, could kind of take notes. And I know Arsenal's trying to do it with the drumming and all that stuff, the ultras they're trying to create and stuff. But I feel like some of the clubs, especially even my favorite club, Man United, they could take some lessons from the Italian teams and do better on the atmospheres that they create.
they played in the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona.
That's
Maradona.
right. That was fairly, what did they name it after he passed away?
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. So, leg two's at home. So, that probably good. It's going to one. He's at Barca, right?
Gundogan is at Barca. He's probably the best player, consistent player that they have. He
He's
just
a
can't
leader.
do it alone, unfortunately, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Is
remember hearing stories of him challenging players earlier in the season that he didn't feel that people were putting forth the effort. And
I feel
as
like
a
it's an
leader,
atmosphere kind of thing. Like he's used to Pep's, way of winning and expecting nothing other than that, and just probably watching how they're not getting upset about,
right.
these whack results is probably really grinding his gears. He must really be kicking himself, having gone. I mean, but they did win the league last year, so they're in second place, so it's not all bad, but
Yeah.
it's rough, it's not easy.
Yep. Is this Girona team or whoever, are they still at the top of the table or is that
No,
been,
they're done. I think they lost their chance of winning it this year.
they lost to
okay.
Real Madrid a couple weeks ago and like 4-0 or something, right? And
4-0, yeah,
I
it
think
was
it's kind
bad.
of fallen off after that, but they're still in
Magic
second.
dust is kind of
Yeah,
coming off of them.
Yeah,
56 points. Real
yeah,
Madrid has 62.
Oh yeah.
Barcelona is behind them with 54. So we'll see if they can hang on. But I think what the story really behind Girona is the city football group that they have supporting them and that big football network. I don't know if you guys have heard
Mm.
about how they're moving players and loaning players to teams in their network.
cheating,
Um,
Wow.
cheating.
yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily cheating,
They'll
but
find a
Clever.
way. That city group will find a way.
yeah, I mean they technically own their players, so it's really easy for them to like loan one to another team that they have without really, moving too much or
And the New York
That's
team.
just the way the world's going. It's just all coming into one big thing. All of a sudden, we're gonna all be one big team.
Well, now
Yeah.
now Ineos is in on United at 27%, and they own Nice and they own I think one other
Uh,
club. So yeah, they're kind of coming
this
into
shit's
their own.
biblical, mate. It's biblical. It's
Yeah, it's pretty
revelations,
wild.
man. It's total revelations,
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty
So,
wild.
okay. With that said, then the other match today it sounds like the 94th minute, Porto got a quite the strike. I didn't see it. I just saw a post about it, but sounds like it was a hell of a goal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was he just shot at second post, dipped in, keeper couldn't reach it. Typical goal, but 90th minute.
it was a curler from
That'll
outside the box. Yeah, he curled it right in there. But the thing was, I felt like from watching like if you watch like the I don't know 15-second replay, like Arsenal win the ball and Porto's pushed up and they're trying to break, and the pass that was made just wasn't real accurate, and that's what allowed the Porto defender to bring the ball down and pass it directly to the guy who ended up scoring. So it was a little bit of Arsenal maybe not controlling that situation as well as they should have.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
when you're
But
trying to
that was it, I
transition
think,
and
for
win,
champions.
yeah. Yeah, so kind of a heartbreaker, but they're going to go back to Arsenal and, they'll have a chance to redeem
Turn it up. I
themselves.
think they'll
Yeah.
turn it up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so what about good old Bundesliga?
Oh man, I would love to see Harry Kane not win a title. That would be
I mean,
hilarious.
even I think it's funny now. It's like, it's so ironic that, who would have thought that Alonso would come in and just take over at Leverkusen and just, they're damn near perfect. And not only that, I watched most of that game Sunday. It was at Bochum, and they lost to Bochum 2-1 or 3-2, whatever it was. It's like, good Lord. I mean, there's just something missing there. I don't know if it's Tuchel or that just doesn't motivate them to want to play. I mean, obviously he's trying to motivate them, but do you really want to play for that guy?
Yeah.
Out of they're
Maybe.
lazy, they're used to winning, and now they're getting hit a little harder. But Bochum is a kind of a mid to lower table, and they were excited to be there. And it's like Bayern was just kind of didn't have
Going
that
through
extra
emotions.
mile in them.
Yeah, I think they might be suffering through what Man City suffering, you know?
Yeah. But yeah,
And
the whole Kane thing just makes it.
Makes it just to put the cherry on top, huh?
I also think
Well, every
Tuchel's
guy
just like past, like his style of playing, same with Jose's, is just, it's done. It's just not what people really do anymore. It's not that successful at the bigger clubs, maybe at smaller clubs. But
Yeah,
I just think it's past like how Tuchel, I am just baffled at how Tuchel won a Champions
Champions
League
League.
with Chelsea coming midway through the
I
season the way he did.
I told Trent, Ryan Hernandez, a bunch of the Chelsea guys. I said it's just a matter of time before players get tired of him. He's such an awkward, strange dude. And I think after a while, he's just polarizing on whatever level. And I think that gets to the players. It just exhausts them. I saw him like that at PSG too. He was out of his mind. And I think that has an effect on the team where he should be uniting them, and somehow it just kind of pulls them apart in whatever way.
He usually has a falling out with the higher ups too at whatever club he's
Yep,
at, and that doesn't seem to
yep.
help anything.
Well, the headline today, yesterday, whatever, was that he's leaving at the end of the season, which I would have thought he'd been shown the door already, because the Bayern higher ups are very see you later. They're worse than what Roman used to be at Chelsea, and I don't know. Maybe they're out of options.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah, I
seem
heard
to.
they might be gunning for Xavi Alonso.
Oh yeah, well that would make sense, right? So Liverpool probably is too. I mean, because he's a legacy there.
That could be an
Uh,
interesting off-season war between those two big clubs trying to pull Alonso.
well, yeah, you can't be successful in Germany if you're someone other than Bayern. We've seen Bayern raid Dortmund. Anytime there's a great player, they're gone to either Bayern or somewhere
Leverkusen,
else.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of been their MO as far as how they keep winning is they buy the people that are threatening them.
Dortmund
Um,
also wouldn't be a club anymore if it wasn't for Bayern because they kind of saved them in the early 2000s. So Bayern, I think, kind of
yeah.
maybe holds that over them a little bit. Hey, you remember that time you were financially uh, negative and we saved your butt? So why don't you give us that
Mhm.
player? I
Tell
think
me
that
this,
might
is
play.
Gio, is he on loan to Forest from Dortmund, or did they sell him?
That's a good question. I don't know if I paid attention to
Because he's
whether it
sitting
was.
on the bench. I mean, I
I think
saw
he's loaned, but I could be
okay.
wrong.
Dortmund is slipping. They're not they're always seem to be challenging for the title or at least a healthy second place. And and they've always done well at developing players and selling players and being very profitable. It seems like that's starting to kind of tank a little bit. And I don't know what the deal is with Gio, but God, I'm sure everyone wishes he would have played more while he was there. I know he's injured a lot, but now he's at Forest, and it seems like he's doesn't isn't getting the minutes from what I can tell. I'd love to see him come in. And I mean, obviously we all know what he can do. I
Yeah,
don't know.
whenever I've watched him come on, he seems like he did all right. I mean, he doesn't seem to be maybe creating as many chances as they would like, but they're putting him at the end of the games, I think, when they're trying to score a
Yeah.
goal or tie it up or
Yeah.
win it or whatever. But yeah, it was a loan move, Dave. So he's just on
Okay.
loan at Forest, but he's also got to like play more to get used to the Prem because it's obviously different than the Bundesliga
Mm.
where he's been. So he needs to play more to
Well,
try and get used
and
to
they
it.
have that Nuno Espirito Santo, who is both a load of shit. He's a counter attacker. So does even Gio really even fit into that?
He's
I
probably
don't
not
know.
pacey enough for what they're wanting. So
Yeah. Oh well.
yeah, but hopefully he gets a better chance.
Maybe mommy and daddy will call the coach and there'll be a big fight.
Oh man, that would be pretty funny if that comes out that somehow they like forced the coach's hand.
So
Although
there's a
I don't,
story going.
they'll have to dig up some dirt, right? They'll have to dig up some dirt on
Yeah,
the
yeah, absolutely.
on Nuno.
So there's a story going around on this between us three that the MLS starts tonight. Is that right?
With substitute refs.
What's that?
Substitute
I said
refs.
with substitute refs, yeah,
Oh, I heard something about that. They're just
they
not
couldn't
getting
reach an
insurance and
agreement.
paid well, or what?
Yeah, they couldn't reach an agreement with PRO, the professional refing organization.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess they're using sub refs right now. But yeah, the MLS is officially back. They currently 0-0 between Real Salt Lake and Miami.
Huh.
Messi hasn't scored.
You know, there's a picture of a free kick at the top of the key, and Real Salt Lake went and put two defenders right next to the two posts. So I mean, yeah, they're trying to figure out ways to stop Messi, but yeah, 0-0 right now.
So I see that they have Suarez, Messi, Busquets, and Alba all playing. Yedlin is also playing.
Yeah.
So they
Hmm.
got quite the lineup at Inter.
Yeah, I was just looking at that myself because I knew they had done some off-season work, typically with getting the players from the Spanish league back over and
I saw that they had
Yeah,
picked Miami to kind of run away with the league they think this year. Like the odds makers were picking Miami.
I doubt it. The way the format is, it's going to be all year. Then they have so many international competitions in the summer that's going to interrupt it. Like, I honestly don't think we're going to see Messi play 50% of the games.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. That's my guess. It's going to be interesting to see how the hype carries over now that he's going to be starting, the season as opposed to coming in towards the end. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be as hyped up as we think it's going to be. Probably going to be
Hmm.
like another Messi going to China. Disappointment.
well, then you got all these idiots that are out there. Oh, it's scripted for Messi. What? How do you do that? You can't do that.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we'll
If
see.
they can track the ball and say that their ball was still in, then they could definitely manipulate that ball for Messi to go in all the
okay.
time.
All right.
Pretty easy, Dave. Okay, come on.
I agree. I don't know what I was thinking.
I'm gonna put on my foil hat now and just tell you guys about aliens and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Well, to be honest, I would like to pay more attention to the MLS. I've never looked down upon it. I've just been so focused on the EPL and spend my time on that domestically, and not having a domestic team necessarily, maybe it would be the season for me to pick one. Not Inter Miami, that would be too obvious, right? But
Hey, just be an Austin fan. I don't know any Austin
yeah, you
fans.
know
Just
what? I
pick
don't
them.
like how much they charge for tickets. I'm out on that.
Okay, fine. Do that. I'm
FC
a
Dallas?
Huh?
FC Dallas?
Yeah, I was thinking Sporting KC or FC Dallas, something a little more regional.
well,
But
you're from Kansas, so KC would make sense, right?
yeah, but that's probably in Missouri
I was gonna
anyway.
say, do they play on the Missouri side though?
I'm not sure.
I actually think they play on the Kansas side. I think I heard someone talking about that
Okay.
because
I'll
Kansas
take
City is
Sporting.
split. Yeah, I think they actually play on the Kansas side.
I'll take
Um,
Sporting then. That's my team. Decision made.
Perfect. My team is Portland, just because I've been to some of their games, and
Yeah.
they kind of had a rough outing last year, but we'll see how Phil Neville does this year. So
Yeah, my team was Chivas USA, but I guess I'll have to find a new one.
Are they out of the league or something? What?
Chivas USA?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they folded. They used to be in the MLS, but now they're not.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can't pick them, so
Like it'll be energy since they're I guess coming back.
all right. Yeah, maybe I'll just wait around for that.
The
No,
energy just keep posting to keep interactions and people
of
mad, I
course.
guess.
Yeah. Why not? Branding,
I thought it was
marketing.
interesting to hear that they were going to be taking over the operations of the multi-purpose stadium.
Yeah.
The only,
Yeah, they
the
paid a
only,
portion of that or whatever.
yeah, they donated the land, which allows them to allocate more funds to the stadium. But if they allow Energy to operate it, like what would that mean for like Oklahoma City FC, the Imps? Will it be available for other
Yeah.
organizations if Energy's going to be taking it over? Those are just some questions that I would like to have answered. So we'll see what I can do.
And that's probably coming around soon, isn't it? I would think.
Yeah, Imps,
They went to
high
the
school soccer,
final
kicking
last year,
over.
right?
I think it was the conference final.
Okay.
Yeah, they played against Tulsa, lost to Tulsa, and Tulsa ended up winning the Natty.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's right. The Athletics won it all.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
Hey Dave,
Well,
I
that's
looked it up and yeah, the Sporting Kansas, they play on the Kansas side.
I'm
So
in.
they play right outside the Kansas Speedway, by the way. Their
I mean, I've been to
stadium.
that. I've been to that stadium.
Oh,
It was
okay.
where the Energy actually played there in a conference final, but I was too drunk to know which side I was on. But
Well, at least you're supporting your state in Kansas. So
that's right. Well, what else do we got? I guess it's shit, we've covered a lot of ground. Um
There's not a lot
is-
of games going on this weekend. If
I
you
was
guys
just
want
saying,
to
is
talk
this
about
a
it.
break? Is it only the cup final or are there actual EPL games? I
no,
know
there's
Spurs don't.
EPL. You
Oh,
were
okay.
supposed to play. Tottenham was supposed to play Chelsea this
Right.
weekend, but that's going to be postponed.
Yep.
But no, United play Fulham, Villa play Forest, Brighton play Everton,
Okay.
Palace play Burnley, Bournemouth plays City, and then Arsenal and Newcastle should be pretty entertaining.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah,
that's at
yeah,
two
yeah.
o'clock on Saturday.
Okay.
Um,
Apparently Hodgson stepped down and uh because he doesn't know where he's at. And I can't remember who
he
Palace got
he was pulling a
after this.
Biden, not real sure where he was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Someone lead me where I need to go. Um,
Exactly.
oh gosh, Sunday, other than the final, is Wolves and Sheffield. I wonder how many goals Sheffield lets Wolves have. Although Wolves probably won't know what to do because both teams like to sit back. So does the ball just sit in midfield all game until someone ventures out and touches it and does
I'm
something?
not watching it. That's the bottom line.
You'd have to
I'll
get up
find
at
out. I'll read about it in the paper.
you'd have to get up at 7:30 to watch it anyway. So I don't
Nope.
know who would be up for that. Um, West Ham and Brentford play on Monday. Man, West Ham of they started really
They
well
were
and
Oh
they've
yeah,
hot.
they have fallen off pretty quick.
they sure
Good.
have, haven't they? Ninth place. Oof.
Well, I mean, have you guys seen what Calvin Phillips has done for him since he's come in?
Red
I
card.
heard
Did he
he's
get a
stunk
red?
it up.
He gave the ball away. Hang on, let me make sure I get these correct. His first outing, he gave the ball away. I think to Bournemouth. Um, like straight up, just like gave Bournemouth a tap in, with a back pass. He then came in against Man United, and McTominay and Hoyland kind of bullied him off the ball, in like the 80th, 85th minute or something, and United go down and score a third.
Yeah,
And then yeah, I guess against what, Forest, he just comes in and gets a red
I think he
and
got two
just
yellows in like 3 minutes or something.
yeah, and just kind of gave West Ham no chance.
Well, let's be fair. The guy played like 3 minutes and 46 seconds at City. He has no minutes.
It's true,
but he
but
has
why
championships. He has championships.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I'm just confused what Moyes sees in him and why he's playing him in the
Well,
first place.
I think he was on everyone's radar because he was just wasting away at City, right? I mean, he's been in the England squad. He's a defensive mid. It just seems like there was a place for him. So I don't know that the jury's out on him. I said he's had a long period of inactivity. He was hurt for a long time too. So,
He's only
but
played for rivals of my team, so I
yeah,
just can't be a fan of him. But
yeah,
yeah, I
he
know
might
he
as well
was
just
good
go
at
back to
Leeds, but
Leeds.
yeah.
He should just go back to Leeds, maybe feel like he's at home and get a restart because it may be a long road back for him if anyone even has the patience for him.
Well, he's got to be pretty devoid of confidence right now. I mean, the way
Yeah,
he's started. So, but
yeah,
yeah, yeah, West Ham have just not quite had the. I mean, they got hammered by Arsenal 6-0 after
yeah.
getting, and United didn't even play all that well, and we were able to win 3-0. And then they just got beat by Forest 2-0. So they're really struggling right now. This especially this month, but even January, they didn't have a win in January. So yeah, West Ham are really
They're probably
struggling.
just getting drunk. I don't know what else they could be doing.
It's just Moyes doing Moyes things.
Yeah,
He'll do this and then he'll do this, and
yeah.
it's just what he does. It's kind of wild. Do you guys think Everton will be able to survive like they've been doing? Although I feel like they're playing better this year. They just got screwed over with the 10-point deduction.
Yeah, right. I think they'll be able to hold out.
Well,
And
isn't it still up in the air whether they'll get more points taken away?
Yeah.
So I mean that will determine a lot of it. But let's say that doesn't happen. I'm with Ricardo. They've played better, and I don't know. The last two seasons where they were hanging on for dear life, they really did not play attractive football, and they just got it at the death. But yeah, they seem to be a better team this year, and I would prefer they stay up. I mean, like I said, there's more other teams that I would rather see go down.
Same. I don't
But
I don't want to see them go down, but I I I feel like I know the ownership is just a mess right now and they don't seem to be spending a lot, but I just can't see how they're I mean, I know they're playing better this year, but I don't know how far they can really go with Sean Dyche. I mean, he
yeah,
just maybe it's just in my brain he's just very Burnley, and Burnley's going to be kind of up and down type of a team, but I don't know how they can really. I mean, if they have true aspirations, I feel like they got to go for a better manager. Not that Deitch is that bad. I feel like Everton could be better than what Deitch can do. But yeah, if they didn't have the point deduction, they'd be on 30 points, which would put them in 11th or
yeah.
12th. But if they do get hit with another 10 points, they would be in last on 10 points.
Mhm.
Which I mean, I know the process is a lot quicker on just these single charges than the charges that, are up against Man City. But I still think it's if I was the FA, I think you just focus solely on City and leave these other things for later and just go hammer City. But that's me because I'm a biased Man United fan and I want to see City get completely destroyed as a club and just, all of their trophies be, void. But that's me.
Yeah, it's like City has the hotshot attorney, and Everton has the public defender or whatever.
Yeah.
They just throw in there. It's like, okay, 10 points docked. You have no money, whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's obviously they're looking the other way because City's just a money maker and made of money too. So
Right.
total
Right.
bullshit.
We need to review at some point before the end of the season. We need to review what we said on the first pod about where we thought teams would finish relegation wise and top six wise,
Oh yeah,
and
back in the
and
backyard there with the cicadas.
with the
Yeah, we got to
cicadas,
look back
yeah,
on that.
and just see what we predicted and how wrong we all. Although maybe one of us got it dead on. I don't know, but I feel like I was looking at because I made note of mine and I was like I'm pretty off. So I had like City, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle. The one thing I got right was that I called Liverpool would be back this year and like challenging and just be way better than they were last year. That's about the only thing I got right because I mean
Hmm.
maybe City pull it off again. As much as I don't want to see that. Um, but then my relegation was Nottingham, Luton, and Bournemouth, and maybe Luton becomes correct, even though I don't really want to see them go down because I like how they go for it. Um, but yeah, I feel like I mean, out of all of those, I maybe have like one right, and that's it. It's been pretty bad. But I mean, it's hard to predict, right? Who knows what's gonna happen?
Right.
Yeah,
But it is funny to think back that far. I mean, that was all had to have been early August, and shit. here we are, 2024, late Feb.
I had Chelsea in
Mm.
6th, and they're in 10th. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they could still get to 6th technically, but
Oh, yeah.
they'd have to.
Lots could still happen.
Yeah, they could. They're only 3 out of 7th, so they're not that far off actually from 7th. So they could be pretty close.
Don't get
I guess.
excited about them. That's
Yeah. Let's see.
Do you think Poch makes it to the end of the season?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they're with him. They
Yeah.
know his potential, and they've showed enough. As frustrating as it's been for everyone, I think they've showed that they could probably figure it out. There's just some rearranging to do, and which includes time. And I think he walked into a real mess, and so of course I'll defend him because I still have a soft spot for him, but I think they ought to give him a shot.
I agree. I think they need to give him time, and I think they will, but who knows? I know our teams are headed in different directions, but what do you guys think between United, Aston Villa, and Tottenham? Who gets top 4?
Gosh, I don't think we're consistent enough right now, but if everyone stays healthy, it's possible we get it. You guys are obviously heading in the right direction, up and to the right. Villa is they'll lose games you don't think they're supposed to lose, but they're always hanging around. So quite honestly, right now as in form, I'd say it'd be you guys, but boy, there's a lot of football to be played. But yeah, if it was today, I think it'd be you.
It's either out of Tottenham and Man U, honestly. I
Yeah.
think. But you never know.
My worry with United is the squad depth is pretty lacking, especially like striker. Like if Højlund goes down, we're screwed. If Casemiro goes down, we don't have a good defensive mid. So it's like,
Yeah.
and Casemiro hasn't even been playing all that well anyway. So yeah, we're just thin. And then Luke Shaw, I think, pulled his hamstring, so he might
Oh,
be done
boy.
for the rest of the season. And we
He
don't
just
even.
can't stay healthy.
Yeah, and the backup left back Malacia has been injured all season long. So he's not coming in. So we're gonna have to play like Lindelof or maybe
Yeah.
move Dallo and put someone else right. I mean, like it's a mess continuously on the back line. So that's my worry with them just being able to keep this form up. I don't know that that's going to be sustainable. So it could be one of those seasons where those seasons where like no one wants top 4. It seems like no one, they just keep putting in these weird inconsistent games and no one
Yep.
seems to, and then someone just kind of defaults into there and gets it by like 1 point. It might end up being
Arsenal.
one of those. Yeah, Arsenal. Yeah, typical Arsenal. Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen this year.
Yeah, I would much rather see Arsenal win it than the other two that are, or really Villa. If Villa could just catch some form and beat everybody, that'd be great. I'd take that.
Yeah.
Well, anything else, guys?
Boy, I think that's a good rebound show we did there. And like I said, we'll try and kind of get back on track. This year has just been off to a crazy start. So
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can be on location in the next pod.
yeah, we'll figure it out. Sure.
So yeah, EPL this weekend. MLS starts this weekend. Well, tonight, but also this weekend. And then there's also FA Cup next week, midweek, and then Carabao final on Sunday. So
Yep.
yeah, some fairly good soccer going on. So we'll have plenty to talk about next time we get together.
Sounds great, guys.
Well,
All right.
it's good to
Play
see your
that
faces.
music.
That's right. We'll put it in right here, right now.